Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm doing good and I hope that you are too. I'm very excited for this next episode because it's called Sanin Showdown and I very much want to see what's going to happen between Jiraiya, Tsunade and Orochimaru. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. At the beginning of this episode, we get a bit of insight into the personalities of the three beasts. I don't know if beasts is the right word, but I'm just going to use it. I don't know what other word to use. The toad we already know, but Manda, the snake that Orochimaru has summoned, seems to match the personality of the person who summoned him. He's openly hostile and wants 100 human souls in exchange for his assistance. So from what I've seen so far, Orochimaru and Manda have very similar personality types. They're quite well suited to each other, just a pair of dicks. But that does mean that Manda was most likely going to betray Orochimaru when he finds out Orochimaru can't use any of his jutsu.
If Manda finds out that his master can't use any of his jutsu, he's more than likely to betray us. This was a mistake. No matter how hopeless things looked, he never should have summoned Manda, not in his condition.
And I really want to know more about Kabuto and Orochimaru's past relationship. Does Kabuto love Orochimaru? He seems so worried, and it is right that he would be worried because his team is in danger. But how deep does his concern go? What kind of figure is Orochimaru to Kabuto? Is that like his dad? You know? I can't wait to find out more. I hope that we do. I'm sure that we will. Right? Right. I'm sure we will.
Today, I'm putting Orochimaru out of our misery once and for all.
I like how Jiraiya says, clip out our misery. He has indeed caused everyone a great deal of misery, and he has plans to cause even more. Katsuya the slug can make mini clones of herself. That is very useful, and she sends Naruto for healing and protection with Tsunade. Tsunade and her slug kick things off with an acid slime attack, which is exactly the kind of attack that I'd expect from a slug. But Manda is too fast and wraps himself around her very quickly. Before he can bite off her head, Chief Toad interrupts, but Manda seems mostly unfazed. He's squeezing the slug tighter and tighter, and I'm bracing myself for a rather gross explosion. But then she disintegrates herself into a bunch of much smaller slugs, and I don't know why that kind of made my skin crawl. I'm clearly much more squeamish than I realized. Jiraiya and the chief work together, with one spitting just so much oil while the other breathes fire. Why does Chief Toad have so much oil in his belly? Is that a characteristic of toads that I just don't know anything about? That doesn't matter. The attack is very impressive, but Manda sheds his skin to alleviate the damage. Doesn't it take hours for a snake to shed its skin? And that's a very big snake. That doesn't matter either. After all, these are not regular animals.
His tail! Huh?
Fighting one Sanin would be hard enough, but two...
Yes, Orochimaru, you should have bled for your life. He grabs Tsunade with his creepy, long, thick tongue and begins strangling her. She has no more chakra, and he has a chance of ending her right here and now. But she is not going to give out. She is a legend.
Impossible!
Now that's what I'm talking about. You can't allow yourself to be strangled to death by some creepy ass tongue. Tsunade is so cool. I love how physically strong she is, and you can see the muscles in her arms as she's punching him. Ah, gosh, I really like her so much. That's my fifth Hokage right there. Tsunade continues to give him a beatdown until she reaches the limits of her strength. Despite receiving so many of her blows, he's still conscious and he thinks he's about to get the upper hand, but Tsunade pushes past her own limits to keep punching him in his stupid face.
Can't let up for a second! This is the big one, where I bet it all, where I put my life on the line!
I love this. She's so cool. Plus Ultra all the way. She's giving me really strong All Might vibes. And for those who don't know, I adore All Might. He's my favorite superhero out of all the superheroes in existence. She keeps hitting him, and he just won't stay down. So she puts everything she has left into a punch that sends him flying. Jiraiya and Toad seem to think this is the end for him. So, is it?
So, you refuse to heal my arms, do you? I don't need you. There is one other way. And I will destroy the Leaf Village. Depend on it.
Man, I love Orochimaru as a villain so much. The music, his vibe, all of his creepy stuff, he really is like a monster. And after everything that they've done to him, he's still on his feet and he doesn't have his arms. Like, he's fighting Tsunade and Jiraiya, like half of Jiraiya, right? And he's still okay and he doesn't even have his arms. He can't even use any jutsu. At the beginning of the fight, Jiraiya says, "You will no longer be part of us." And then Orochimaru goes, "Us?" You know, like he's insulted by that idea. And I kind of see why.
You're no longer fit to be one of us.
One of us? What an insult.
So far, everything that we've seen of Orochimaru puts him in his own category altogether. There's like the Sannin over here and then it's him over here because he doesn't have his arms. He's not using any jutsu and he's handling them. You know, he's not beating them, but he's handling them. And yes, Jiraiya has been drugged, so he's not at his full strength. But still, Orochimaru is so strong.
When I return with the elixir of life, I'll show you what it means to be truly immortal.
And then he sinks into the ground, and I had forgotten he could do that too. Man's just got so many tricks up his sleeve. As is expected for someone like Orochimaru, he leaves them with threats of violence and death. His face is all torn, so you can see the face of the woman whose body he took like underneath his face. So now Jiraiya and Tsunade know what he's been up to, that he's been going around stealing bodies. I wish him luck on his journey to get his arms back. The next fight will be even cooler when he can use his arms and his jutsu. Jiraiya and Tsunade are way too injured and exhausted to pursue Orochimaru and Kabuto, so it's all over now. As Tsunade stands over Naruto's unconscious body, they once again do the whole flashback of everything that's happened between them. And I have to complain that this is excessive. In the last couple of episodes, we've seen this whole flashback thing so many times. We get it. Tsunade has been deeply affected by Naruto's actions and his dream to be Hokage, and she's been remembering her brother and her lover. You don't have to keep showing it to us over and over and over again. Anyway, they go back to the village to rest up before heading back to the Leaf Village. Once Naruto is feeling better, he reminds Tsunade why she found him so annoying in the first place.
And she's, well, mean and greedy, and with a nasty temper, and she's not all that smart.
And they actually go out to fight because Naruto didn't learn his lesson the first time apparently. I like how Jiraiya and Tsunade back away and give them space. They know what's about to go down. Naruto charges and tries to punch her, and this time it turns into quite a sweet moment, and she kisses him on the forehead. How sweet. Now they can all go back home on good terms. This episode is a filler. I watched it, but I'm not really going to talk about it. I didn't really like this episode. As far as being a filler, I feel like they could have done better to give us a story that fit in more with what had happened in the previous episode. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. Iruka-sensei ends class early and because of this, Konohamaru and his friends see some of the ninjas clearing out Sarutobi's belongings from the Hokage's office. He does not handle this well at all.
No, Poofy. It reminds reminds me of my baby blanket.
Really? Really? This is what we're gonna do? We're gonna have little boy rub his face in her cleavage? Why? Oh, Naruto! Oh. But anyway, Tsunade called him a little runt before going to meet the elders. I continue to find it amusing that the pig says oink instead of making a pig sound. Naruto arrives and rants about Tsunade needing to go to the infirmary, and I am on his side. Please fix Kakashi as soon as possible. He tells Konohamaru that she's the new Hokage, and he runs away, very upset. Meanwhile, Tenten finds Neji while he's training and invites him to come see Tsunade with her. And he's just like, no. He's too busy training. If I remember correctly, it was Tenten's dream, that time that the team was talking to Guy about it. It was her dream to be like Lady Tsunade, right? So I see why she's really excited to see her. But I love the way that Neji is just like, he sounds so enlightened, like he just wants to count the birds in the forest. I know that's training, but he sounds like a monk. Oh, there were 8 birds, not 7 birds. Just leave me and my birds in the forest.
Don't you want to see her?
No, not really. Not right now. There were 8 birds.
The elders want to organize a big thing for the 5th Hokage's arrival, and Tsunade is not too fussed about it, but tradition. Konohamaru is continuing to struggle with all of this change.
I hate you, Grandpa. Why did you have to go and die?
Shame. Saying I hate you, Grandpa, is a little bit extreme. Your grandfather did die protecting the Leaf Village, so he's a hero and he was the Hokage, and there has to be another Hokage. I understand it's very difficult, but that is the circle of life. Has no one spoken to him about this? Back in the ninja offices, Naruto reminds Tsunade of her healing obligations, and they bump into Shikamaru and his dad. Shikamaru expresses his concern over having a woman as Hokage because of their mood swings or whatever, and this 13-year-old boy is talking like he has so much experience with women. Teenage girls and teenage boys are both all over the place, and that's really the only experience that this boy has of life so far. So his dad gives him some advice.
And take my word for it, they make men better people than we'd ever be without them. Unlike us, even the strongest of them isn't afraid to be gentle with the man she loves.
I have a feeling that's going to become more meaningful to him in the future. Sakura is at Sasuke's side as Tsunade, Shizune, and Naruto arrive, and she's so emotional over the possibility of him being healed, which Tsunade notices, and she really cries when he wakes up.
Sasuke!
Hey, you're back!
Huh?
Oh man, Naruto, look at his face. Oh goodness, poor boy. He's really realizing how much she loves Sasuke and not him, and it hurts to see her giving all of that affection to him, but he's also happy because Sasuke is okay, and oh my goodness. Oh, Naruto. And then he just walks out of the room and leaves them to have their moment, and Tsunade is being all observant and she sees everything that's going on. And Sasuke doesn't seem to have much of a reaction. He's not really acknowledging Sakura or hugging her back. But in this case, I don't blame Sasuke at all for not reacting to Sakura, because, if you consider what he's waking up from, like his last memories was seeing Itachi again after all of these years, trying to fight him, failing to really hold up against him at all, and then being put in the Tsukiyomi and remembering the night that his parents and his family died. So I don't expect anything really from Sasuke in this situation. If he just wants to be left alone, that would make sense to me. But I would want him to be able to receive affection and care from Sakura, from someone, because he's alone. And that's not nice to be alone, but I don't think he's in that headspace at all. He's probably going to become super angry Sasuke now. But anyway, Kakashi is healed too, and shame he looks so bad, and Tsunade gives him such a hard time.
Ah, disgraceful. To be taken completely out of the game by two low-life punks like that. I thought you were supposed to be the best.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh man, leave him alone, Tsunade. You don't know what he went through. He's doing his best. She then goes on to attend to Lee, and Guy is very excited. She sends Naruto away, which makes me worry that Lee's situation is very bad, and she doesn't want Naruto to hear. He goes on to meet Iruka Sensei for ramen, and Konohamaru is busy watching from the shadows, being quite creepy and weird, but you know he's sad, so we forgive him. Iruka explains the current situation of the Leaf Village, that they have to keep accepting missions even though so many of them were injured and the Hokage is dead. If they turn them down, that will send the message that the village is weak, so everyone has to pitch in, including wounded soldiers like Kakashi. Naruto accepts all of this with his usual attitude. He is more than willing to work hard and take on lots of missions for the village.
No one will hold it against you if you give up on being a shinobi.
Huh? That's not Lady Tsunade. It's an imposter. It's some kind of demon.
So I have no chance? It is hopeless?
The chances of it being successful are 50-50 at best. And if it should fail, he'll die.
Oh man, Lee. My heart. You know, when I was thinking of Tsunade returning to the village for the purposes of healing, I was thinking of Sasuke and Kakashi, and I didn't think of Lee. But once Naruto mentioned bushy brows, I thought, yes, save Lee as well, help him to be a ninja again. And now, no, she says there's nothing that she can do. And that is too tragic, I don't like it. He just wants to be a splendid ninja. That's all he wants to be. A splendid ninja. And then Lee just leaves the room. Guy tells Tsunade that he regrets bringing her to Lee, and that's very bold of him to say, "This is the new Hokage, my guy." But anyway, he's feeling very emotional, and I understand that. Tsunade tells him that it's better that Lee knows the full situation and doesn't have any false hope. Which I suppose it is. And this is all just such a tragic situation. I mean, this really goes to show the dangers of being a shinobi. If I'm not mistaken, some of the damage to Lee's body is because he opened the fifth gate, right? And Kakashi told Sasuke that he could die if he used the Chidori more than 3 times. So you face danger from opponents, and you face danger even as you try to become stronger. There was one time where I was watching a podcast or something, and they asked what character from an anime would have deserved their own spin-off series, and someone answered Rock Lee. So I'm guessing that means that Rock Lee does not let this get him down, that he finds a way to overcome this dire prognosis and this hopeless verdict, and he still rises to become a splendid ninja. I know that's what's going to happen, and I am rooting for Rock Lee. You can do it. He can do it. I mean, he does it, right? Yes, I'm sure. Lee is tortured by his potential inability to achieve his dreams. Naruto makes it worse, or makes it better, by telling him to hurry up and get back in shape because it's all hands on deck in the Leaf Village. Konohamaru has sealed himself up in the Hokage's office, even setting booby traps to prevent the ninjas from getting inside. Konohamaru says no one will be able to get into this office because it belongs to his grandfather, and that is very sad. But also, these are some very good booby traps. He's clearly paying attention in class. I think Iruka would be very proud of his student. I think he's going to be a really great ninja someday. Tsunade takes a tough love approach, and she's like, get him out right now. Luckily, Naruto arrives to take a more soft love approach. Tsunade really gives off the vibe of someone who was young during war. Like she's looking at these young kids like, you don't even know what tough is. Get out of my office and stop being so ridiculous. We find out that Lee has skipped his physical therapy appointment, which demonstrates his despair. Sakura finds him and gives him a bouquet of flowers. And he's clearly flattered. Shame, I hope his feelings for Sakura don't grow any bigger. Because she belongs to Sasuke, she is ride or die for Sasuke. She tells Lee that if she needs anything, all he has to do is ask. She's so kind and sweet to Lee, which of course is a very good thing, but it makes it stand out to me how mean she is to Naruto. And why is she so mean to Naruto? He's an orphan, right? So he does deserve her gentleness and her sympathy in the same way that Lee does because of his injuries.
Look at this place. Not a single gambling hall anywhere.
Well, you don't have time for that anyway.
Nowhere to gamble or get a drink. What a boring little dump a Leaf Village is. It's no fun at all. Just like the third Hokage.
Lady Tsunade.
So this is actually something I've thought about myself. Like, what do the people who live in the Leaf Village do for fun? Are there bars and clubs and things like that? Do the shinobi go dancing when they want to let off some steam? You know, just wondering what happens there, if there's an entertainment district or something like that. And according to Tsunade, no, there's not. So at least I have that question answered. Shizune makes a deal with her. I'll find you a place to drink if you get to work. And so Shizune successfully tricks her and takes her to get a drink of tea. Meanwhile, Naruto still can't get Konohamaru to open the door.
All right then, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I tried to be sympathetic, but I can see it's not working. Secret technique? Sexy jutsu!
Konohamaru!
And how exactly is the sexy jutsu supposed to help in this situation? I thought that he would make like a gazillion shadow clones to absorb all of the booby traps before he himself made his way through the door. But the sexy jutsu, for why? Why? After the failure of the sexy jutsu, Naruto does try to make a bunch of shadow clones, but it doesn't go as successfully as I had imagined it in his mind. So Konohamaru is still very much sealed in Hokage's office. After seeing a broken-hearted Lee, Tsunade returns to the Hokage's office and dispatches the booby traps with ease. Naruto was about to use the Rasengan, so she arrived just in time. Like, geez, Naruto, we want to get into the office, not destroy the whole building. You can't just be Rasenganing here willy-nilly. Tsunade very clearly demonstrates what a badass she is, and she doesn't even do anything to Konohamaru. She came to retrieve a book. I wonder what it's about. Naruto has a big brother moment, explaining the current situation in the village to Konohamaru, who is still being kind of a brat, but you know, we give him grace, and he finally opens up. He's worried everyone will forget about his grandfather. I understand that Konohamaru is grieving and he's going through a lot of complicated emotions, but no one is going to forget his grandfather. Because his grandfather was the third Hokage, his face is carved onto a mountain that overlooks the village. People are going to ask, hey, who's that guy? Forever. For as long as there is a Leaf Village, his father will be in history books forever. He will be taught in classes and ninja classes forever. For the rest of the time of the Leaf Village is in existence. So that particular worry is a little bit unfounded. You know, little kids be dumb sometimes, I guess. Once again, I am asking, what are the counseling services available in the Leaf Village? As a ninja village, I imagine a lot of people die quite regularly, and so you would think that they would have numerous services available to help people, especially children, process this loss. Maybe that's something the 5th Hokage will institute. Speaking of the 5th Hokage, Shizune and the pig find her studying the book she took from the office, something about cell revitalization. The techniques that Kabuto displayed make Tsunade think it's possible to apply something similar to a patient, specifically to Lee. As they're walking home, Naruto and Konohamaru overhear the conversation between Tsunade and Tsunade, and Konohamaru is reminded of his grandfather.
There's no guarantee that you'd be able to pull it off.
Only one way to find out. I mean, I am the 5th Hokage after all.
There's no way out of it, Konohamaru. I must go. I am the 3rd Hokage after all. Everyone in this village is family to me. Protecting the family, that's what it means to be Hokage.
And so he is finally able to find some peace. Before I move on to this episode, I just want to acknowledge that this is episode 100, which means I've covered 100 episodes of Naruto, which is a little bit amazing to me, but I've really enjoyed both Naruto. I think you all know that I'm enjoying Naruto, and I've enjoyed making these videos and connecting with some of you in the comments. It's been so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next in Naruto and with the channel, you know. Let's see what 2025 has in store. We're back at the academy with the students. Iruka clearly cares about them, and I really like the thought of this ninja that has a true passion for teaching, and he's clearly very good about it, and he cares about all the students who pass through his classroom. And we get a demonstration of this when he sees Lee and wishes him a speedy recovery. And unfortunately, I think no matter what, Lee's recovery will not be speedy. Tsunade is hard at work trying to figure out a way to heal Lee. I hope she figures it out soon, because seeing him struggle is hurting my heart. Just look at those bags under his eyes. Oh, poor Lee. We get a flashback of the first interaction between Lee and Guy, and the older ninja clearly made an impact on the young student.
You just keep chipping away at it, son. You'll make a splendid shinobi someday. Grab hold of life by both horns. That's what youth is for. Goodbye.
Guy's voice actor must have so much fun with this character and his dialogue.
I want to show I can be a splendid ninja as well! You nitwit. Without ninjutsu or genjutsu, you can hardly call yourself a ninja, can you? Do you remember when they told you were the first person to graduate who could only use taijutsu? They weren't saying that because it was impressive. They only meant that it was unusual.
So this is something I've thought about before, was how was Lee able to graduate from the academy if he couldn't do any ninjutsu or genjutsu? Because I remember Naruto saying that he wasn't able to graduate because he couldn't make clones. So does that mean that Lee's taijutsu was just so excellent that they had to give him a chance? Like they just were willing to see what would happen, and maybe Guy was willing to be the teacher for this kind of student, right? And Naruto just didn't have the same level of taijutsu skills, or maybe even just like the backing in order for them to take the same chance on him. I could see that being the case. So that's interesting. Either way, Neji's comments were unkind, and he should have been more supportive of his teammate. But he definitely has Guy's support. Lee says he was captivated by the man, and I can see why he would be. This glimpse into the past continues, and we get a peek into the rivalry between Kakashi and Guy. They're tied with 48 wins each, and this next one will put one of them in the lead. But of course, by the very nature of this kind of competition, there would have been one of them in the lead most of the time. But you just know Guy can't stand it when they're drawed. One of them must be in the lead.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Are you nuts? That's what you choose?
You know, it's not all about skill. Sometimes you need a little luck.
If I lose, I'll take 500 laps around the Leaf Village, on my hands, too.
There you go again.
That's a promise!
Great. Another one of his oddball, self-imposed rules.
Rock! Paper!
Why did they have to cut away just as we were about to see who would win the rock, paper, scissors? I was genuinely invested in that game. It would have been kind of funny if Guy lost, then he had to go 500 times around the Leaf Village on his hands. Very interesting that he sets these consequences for himself, but not for Kakashi. And that's the same thing that we've seen Lee do, right? He's like, if I can't reach 500 punches, then I have to do XYZ, right? We've seen him do that before. So it's obvious that he gets that from his teacher. He gets that from Guy Sensei. I also like how Kakashi is basically just indulging him because he clearly doesn't want to be there, but he is there. He's late, but he's there. Guy confronts Lee with the physical therapy sessions that he's been missing. His student reflects on his extreme resolve to achieve his dreams and how meaningful it was to him when Guy gave him that positive reinforcement that he's always craved. And the sad piano music is playing, and Lee starts to cry.
But it is not the same this time. Even if I believe in myself and try as hard as I can, it will not make the slightest difference. How come I am the only one being punished like this? Tell me, what should I do?
Oh man, he feels so lost. He feels so lost and just wants someone to tell him what to do. I certainly know what that feels like. And Guy tells him that we're the same, that people like them can only survive and thrive by strictly following their Nendo, and so Lee must do everything in his ability to become a splendid ninja. And so that means...
Get the operation, Lee.
It's really touching to see how much Guy believes in Lee and how well he knows him. He has such faith in the boy's ability to achieve his dreams and become a splendid ninja, despite all the obstacles in his way and even this new obstacle of these injuries. He just believes in him so completely that he cannot even entertain the idea of failure. And for Lee, it must be amazing to have someone who feels that way about you. And then we see how Guy lost that game of rock, paper, scissors, and he made good on his promise. Even though some people laugh, he's making his way around the Leaf Village on his hands. And so Lee asks him why. Why does he always make these crazy rules and punishments for himself?
When a man struts around like a peacock acting like Mr. Big Stuff, he should keep his promises, even if it kills him. The point of all these rules is to stack the deck against yourself, each and every time you set your sights on a new objective. It's about giving yourself an obstacle. Take today. By chaining myself to those 500 laps, I force myself to take something as trivial as a game of rock, paper, scissors with an almost deadly seriousness.
Okay, so I see that there's clearly reason behind the madness. I mean, I like that he has a very clear reason for why he does this behavior, and it clearly worked out well for him because he's an amazing ninja, and it was working well for Lee too because he was on the path to becoming an amazing ninja before his injuries. You know, personally, I would not do that. I'm not about all of this punishment and consequences and physical activity, but I guess, you know, motivation is motivation. I like that Guy acknowledges that he talks himself up a lot, that he talks a big game, and that because he does that, he has to follow through.
You worked hard, Lee. There's no doubt in my mind the surgery will be a success. And on the 1 in 1,000, no, 1 in a million chance something should happen to go wrong, I will die right along with you. My Nindo has been to train you to become the most splendid ninja possible.
Oh my heart, this is too sweet. Guys, they love each other so much and they're like father and son, and Guy just wants him to be amazing and achieve his dreams. And we see that Tsunade has found a way to increase the chances of a successful operation from 50 to 58% because she is also awesome and because she is the 5th Hokage.
From this day on, I shall protect the Hidden Leaf Village. as the 5th Hokage!
What a great note to end on, both for this episode and for my video. I am very optimistic for Leaf's future. I think it's going to be okay. I think the Leaf Village is going to be okay. I mean, maybe some things will go wrong in the middle, but eventually everything will be okay. So that's going to be it for me. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. I hope that you have a good day, a good week. I'm Kayla. See you in the next one. Bye.